guys, it's Carrie. I'm popping in this morning with a tip video for you. We've been trying to do this over the past month or so, have some tip videos that are short and sweet and to the point. So I'm going to try to do that today when we talk a little bit about Stampin' blends. Now this is not only tips, but also some information about these awesome alcohol-based markers that are offered from Stampin' Up. So they are alcohol-based, so that means they are permanent ink. And they're just awesome markers to use. They do come in a 2-pack, a combo pack. So as you can see here, I've got some different colors. I've got blue, green, yellow, red. And so you get the light and the dark of each of the colors in the markers. Now these are also color coordinated with our products offered by Stampin' Up, our cardstock, ribbon, other inks. So it works perfectly with other Stampin' Up products as you want to color the images. Now with these blends, there are also some that are called natural tone. So these are more your skin tone markers and make it really easy to color people, animals. That really helps. Those are fairly new additions to our Stampin' blends. They've not been around quite as long. So initially we had bronze and ivory that we were able to use as more of the natural tones. And now these are great to add some accents. They're still really useful in our coloring. There is also a color lifter. So that's what this white marker is. Now, even though the name is color lifter, it doesn't actually lift any little oops or little stray lines of ink from the Stampin' blends. It actually pushes it back kind of within the line of your image. It can push it deeper into the fibers of the cardstock that you're coloring on or the designer series paper. And so what it's really doing is help dissipate that ink and push it further so you don't notice it as much. If you make that little oops, and we all do that from time to time. So they are sold in sets. They're sold with a light and a dark. And then I want to talk a little bit about what ink you need to use when you're stamping images that you want to color with the Stampin' blends. And that's the Memento Tuxedo Black. This is a water-based ink. So when you're coloring with alcohol, you want to make sure you're using a water-based ink, the opposite type of ink, so that it's not going to smear and mess up the lines of your stamped image and just make a muddy mess. So keep that in mind. You want a water-based ink and then using your alcohol markers. Now, when you use alcohol markers, it is normal for some of that to kind of seep through or bleed through to the other side of the cardstock, and especially if you're coloring on designer series paper, it's going to come through. And that's normal. Just know that you need to protect your work surface, so you can use a piece of grid paper. You could also use your silicone craft sheet. These are very inexpensive. They're in our Stampin' Up catalog. I have several in my craft room because they're great for protecting your work surface with adhesives. Also Stampin' blends, lots of different things that you can use that silicone craft sheet for. Okay, let's look a little bit closer at the blends right quick. A lot of times what we will do is actually lay them out kind of like I have them today, so you have your color palette as you're coloring. So you can just pull everything that you want to use on your image and just have them laid out there. You do want to store your Stampin' blends and really any of your markers from Stampin' Up, store them flat because you want the ink to flow all throughout the barrel so that your tips do not get dried out. Let's pull this one and we'll take a little closer look at this marker. So on the barrel, which is kind of chunky, what I like about that is it fits well in your hand ergonomically, but it also doesn't roll across your work surface, so it makes it easier when you're crafting. So you're gonna find a skinny line and a little bit broader line here on the barrel of the marker when you look at that, and then they're labeled with the color as well, whether it's light or dark. So when you pull off the cap, and they do fit snugly, and that's good, you want it to, you'll notice that this tip is the more precision tip, helps you get in those smaller spaces of the stamped image, and so that's why you've got a little bit skinnier line. And then the broader tip you'll see is a much broader brush tip to the markers. That helps you cover more real estate when you've got a little bit bigger image that you're coloring. Now I know you heard that snap when I put that lid on, and it's important that you make sure that your markers are covered well. You don't want the alcohol to evaporate, the ink to evaporate from your marker. As you're working with them, it's fine to leave it out, but when you go to store it, be sure that you've got those caps on well and that you've got them laid flat. Now, I thought I'd bring a little sample of a project that we made recently in a bingo event, and Dale actually colored this little pizza guy. We are calling him Luigi, but you can see what fun that adds. The color that it adds and the interest that it adds to our project just really makes it vibrant. It is so much fun to color with the blends, and they truly are very easy to work with. So I hope that these tips help you if you own some Stampin' blends, and if you don't, you can find these products in my online store at stampwithct.stampinup.net, and you can add some Stampin' blends to your collection. One of the great things about being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator is that we are here for our customers. Dale helps me all the time. We can help you with questions. He's great at coloring with these blends, so if you need help, let us know. We would be glad to meet with you, either in person or even on Zoom, and we can help you learn some coloring